just want to mention a couple of points about Yom Kippur. The first is that the most important thing on Yom Kippur is the fasting. So if there's that's the most important thing on Yom Kippur is the fasting. That means if there is any conflict whatsoever, if you're not feeling well, and by going to shul, you may get weak and then end up having to break your fast. Again, you have to make an assessment. It's a very difficult, tricky assessment. But if at any point you feel you may have to break your fast by exerting yourself, the most important thing is then just stay in bed and make it through the fast. Okay. Now, obviously, the ideal is to be in shul and daven, number one, and try to daven properly. But if there is a conflict and you're feeling weak or whatever it is, try to the priority of the fast. Now, if you're really not feeling well, really not feeling well, so then you have to speak to one of the rabbis and ask, what do you do because the halacha is that if a person is in a serious health situation, they would have to break their fast. So hopefully everybody should feel well. I know one Rav who is a diabetic, and he's on Yom Kippur. He used to just leave. He was a Rosh Hashiva, a very famous Rosh Hashiva. He was nifter a couple of years ago. Rav Yisachar Meir. No, Rav Weinbach was only towards the end, but Rav Yisachar Meir was a diabetic from the earliest age. And on Yom Kippur, he would stand there in shul. He had a side room and he would daven like in a side room, come out for Shabbat Asr, and he left instruction with the students that if at any point he passed out, they should just pour a bag of sugar down his throat. Mm-hmm. And that was, and he made it through every Yom Kippur. Again, and most diabetics would be told not to fast. Certain people, there's certain women. A guy just asked me about his wife in pregnancy. I just got an email. He asked about his wife. She's, I think, 6.5 months pregnant. So I told him, if it's a regular pregnancy and there hasn't been any sign of early contractions or no complications during pregnancy, then pregnant women fast. According to Allah, pregnant women fast. And again, if it means getting into bed, get into bed. The most difficult situation for women is not pregnancy. Pregnancy, all pregnancy does is it could trigger off contractions in the 9th month. The maternity wards in Israel are packed on Motzei Yom Kippur. There's a lot of women going. Fasting does trigger off contractions, but she's in her 9th month, big deal. But the trickier situation is the woman who's nursing, because the baby is drawing fluid out of her system, and she can't drink, and that's tough. That's tough. When the woman is nursing and she has to fast, that's tough. But again, in healthy circumstances, there's no reason not to fast. Somebody who's not allowed to fast, and we spoke about that, then you can't fast. Number 2. Number 3, don't look at the clock. Don't look at the clock. It's only natural on Yom Kippur to be looking at the clock. The more you look at the clock, the slower the day goes. The slower the day goes. If sometimes guys are sitting there in shul with their machzor like this. They got the machzor. They're doing like this. They're checking. They're looking at the machzor. How much more? I can do this for you. When it finishes, when you get to here, it finishes. When you see the end of the book, the day is over. You're saying the whole book. You're saying the whole book, so it's not tricky, yeah. And you're not going anywhere, guys. So okay. So let's say they finish Musaf. What are you going to do? So you'll have an hour nap. The beach you're not going to. Amusement parks you're not going to. So where are you going? The more you try to get into the davening, the faster the day goes. And number 3, just try. It's difficult. It's a difficult day. It's a cleansing day. You have an opportunity to really tap into a certain. What's really a shame is I was about maybe 11, 12 years old, and we had just finished Musaf. We'd gone home for about an hour, and I was on the way back to shul with my older brother. So I said to him, what's the schedule for the rest of the day? So he says to me, well, we're going to daven mincha, that'll take about an hour, and then we're going to have the nila, that'll take about an hour. Then they're going to blow shofar, it takes about 10 seconds, and they're going to daven marv, takes less. Right? Because that last marv at the end of the day, and we're already off to the races. It's marv, you'll eat. It's what he called. And they talk about great tzaddikim, big tzaddikim, who I am not one of them, who on Motzei Yom Kippur they would eat fish. They specifically ate fish on Motzei. You know why? Why do you think they ate fish? Light. Because fish. You can actually feel the fat. That are abroad should be like. Not too spiritual for me. Fish have bones in them. You can't eat fish fast. Just to maintain a little self-control. Your average any yeshiva bacher worth his salt on Motzei Yom Kippur he's out there, takes 3 slices of pizza, wedges them together, and down, down the hatch. So obviously you're going to do that. Sometimes I have found on Motzei Yom Kippur, I sit down, start eating. So I usually eat some spaghetti and some tuna fish, and I start eating, and I'm a little disappointed. Like I'll eat a little bit, like that's it. I'm not even hungry, and I could do better than that. I mean, I got a reputation to uphold over here, So you got to come back later and have a couple of salami sandwiches, or something. There are people. By the way, according to you're supposed to make a Suda on Motzei Yom Kippur, a proper feast, a proper meal. So a lot of people, but to go and sit down and start eating chicken and meat after you fast is difficult. So what some people do, you have a cup of coffee, a piece of cake, something like that. Then an hour later, you sit down here, you have a proper Suda on Motzei Yom Kippur. Okay, but just enjoy the day. Enjoy the day. Don't get tense and don't get nervous. Just enjoy the day. The more you focus on it, the more you concentrate on it, the faster the day goes. The last point is, a lot of it is psychological. Motzei Erev Yom Kippur, you know where you're going to be about 10 minutes before Yom Kippur. You know where most people are? You buy a fountain of some sort, and you're drinking. You try to drink. Every family has their secret method that works. How many drinks? There's skula that you won't guarantee not to be thirsty on Yom Kippur. You got to take 3 cups of water, 7 cups of water, 613 cups of water, whatever, and then 5 minutes after Yom Kippur starts, you're sitting there. Could be a dry one this year. Yeah. Every year's a dry one. Ever notice that? It's always a dry one. That's all. It's pure psychological. Then you get up. You could be a person who skips breakfast every day of the year. Yom Kippur morning, you get up. You're like, I think they're going to have to call Hatzalah soon. Well, it's all psychological. You get into the davening, and the time passes. And then the irony is that towards the end of Yom Kippur, you're starting to feel strong. Ne'ilah comes around, Hashem hu Elokim. I'm starting to feel pretty strong. Then Yom Kippur ends, and you're thinking, hey, I could probably fast tomorrow if I really wanted to. Yeah, nobody ever does, but that crosses our mind. It's all psychological. So there's one of the most Rav Weinbach Zatzal. He told me once that one of the strongest principles in human nature is actually a principle in Torah, which is what's called pas besalo. When a person has bread in his basket. When a person has bread in his basket, he's not hungry. If a poor man is always hungry, because a poor man doesn't know when his next meal is coming from. So whatever he eats, he's never satiated. Because I'm eating now, but where's the next meal going to come from? A rich man, he can eat a little bit, knowing that it's available. Takes a lot of. I've had friends who've told me, when I go back to the United States, and once in a while I'll watch a sporting event, and I said to my friend once, he's also a rabbi. I said, boy, if I was in America, I would be on this 24 hours a day. He says, no, you wouldn't. It's only because it's not accessible to you. You don't allow it to be accessible, so that when you see it, you think that you got to. If it was there, it would be. You'd grow. What do you call it? It wouldn't be the same. This is a principle.
To watch 3 football games, and then after one.
Yeah, that's it. It's finished, and this is a principle that applies in marriage as well. Because a guy before he's married, he feels that he's being dominated by his Yetzer Hara. Then after a guy gets married, so the expression the Talmud uses is, it's pas besalo. Pas besalo means that it's available, so he's no longer as driven and consumed and dominated as he is before it's available. That's a rule in life, and it's the same by anything. The fact that here Warren Buffett walks to buy a newspaper every morning. You know that? Warren Buffett walks to buy a newspaper. He says, why should I spend the money on having a delivery boy? I could walk. Sure, it's pas besalo, because if he really wanted to, he could buy the entire newspaper plant, right? So that's not, but when you're working stiff who's got to go walking because you can't afford, you don't want to spend the $5 on the delivery boy, so that makes it a little bit different. And therefore, that's the principle going into Yom Kippur. But just remember, Yom Kippur is supposed to be an enjoyable day. All right, everybody, have a Gemar Chasima Tova. And by the way, one last word: do not eat anything tomorrow. You should eat light things, carbs. Do not eat anything spicy. Pizza is a bad choice on Erev Yom Kippur because the cheese dries you out. Falafel's a bad choice. Nothing spicy. Try to eat like starches. Carbs, chicken, unspiced, just very plain. We don't eat meat tomorrow. We don't eat heavy meat tomorrow. We basically chicken, and nothing that causes thirst. Then on Motzei Yom Kippur, take it away. you know. But all right, a Gemar Chasiva Tova, gentlemen.